Yes, there is the incident itself that happened, but the pain is in the details.
The Blanco County Sheriff's Office says one of its former detention officers faces a sexual assault charge.
Startling new report tonight about Oregon's only women's prison. It flags multiple issues, including severe understaffing and fears of possible retaliation when adults in custody report sexual abuse concerns.
I don't trust the probation officers. I don't trust any of the staff for federal, because they failed me. They're failing people in prison.
I was being abused in my family home, got involved with the wrong people, became addicted to drugs, and that leads to crime, and crime leads to prison. They gave me a 36-year, 8-month sentence for forgery for $603. I had been there a year before I was sexually assaulted.
60% of sexual assault in prisons is done by prison staff.
I was assigned to a man named Dan, and apparently he was known for making women very uncomfortable. It was March 20th, 1997, and he had jacked this piece of cement out of the floor or wall, and it fit perfectly in his hand. When I stepped in front of him, he hit me in the back of the head with that thing. And I landed over the top of the mattress and hit my face on the cement floor, so I was stunned. So I was trying to fight him, and he was biting me on my back and trying to control the situation. When he was finished doing what he was doing, he left me there. My thoughts were oh my God, he's gonna keep doing this, It was so incredibly important to me to stop him from doing what he'd just done to me, to anybody else.
When a survivor reports their sexual abuse, the first people to respond to them are officers from their prison. These officers might be friends of their abuser or complicit in their abuse.
They wanted me to change my story. Nobody even talked to me for almost 8 hours. And they were trying to force me to say an inmate had done this to me, and what inmate was it? And I thought, wow.
Next, prison officials decide whether your sexual assault is serious enough to be investigated, either by an officer from within that prison or by an independent office.
I didn't want to tell them who the staff member was, because I didn't know who was friends, who was not, who was connected, who wasn't, and I didn't want to get any further trauma.
Cases investigated within prisons are easily swept under the rug. The final decision is left to the warden of the prison to determine if the report has enough proof and whether the abuser should be disciplined at all.
But they would pull me out of my cell for a shower and let me get soaked up and then turn the water off and leave me in there all night long. But they were spitting on me and throwing coffee, and they passed my cell 4 days in a row, many, many times in a month, without feeding me.
Too often, staff who are accused of and even proven to have sexually abused incarcerated people are simply reassigned or allowed to resign with no meaningful disciplinary action.
He was arrested. He was allowed to bargain down to sex with an inmate, paid a $100 fine, and got to serve his 30 days in the county jail on weekends. I contracted hepatitis C from this assault, and I lost my ability to have children.
This is Joanna's story, but there are countless others. Officers lure women into relationships by dangling tangible things they need to survive. Panties, body wash, cell phones. Then they harm you if you don't comply. This is not consensual. It's rape.
We have nowhere to run. We can't get away, and we're desperate. We want a phone call. We want to call our family. So what will you do for that? People are hungry. We want extra food. So what will you do for that? That I want to change that for people and know there's things they can do, and they can be safe, and they can sleep safe, and they can have a life after sexual assault. If I could talk to myself back then, me today, you did the best you could do with what you had to work with.
2/3 of people inside federal women's prisons have reported sexual assault by prison staff.
If this is you, join us.
If this is someone you love, join us.
If this isn't you, but you care anyway,
join us.
Join us.
Now is the time to stand up. Fight against sexual violence inside prisons.
Become a sister warrior today.
Become a Sister Warrior today.
Learn more about the movement at sisterwarriors.org.